On this episode of In the Fight, a demining crew searches for hidden dangers throughout Afghanistan. A crisis action team helps bring aid to the people of Tacloban. We see how partnerships are critical to the research of Earth's atmosphere. Marines give us a glimpse into the future. And a first lieutenant applies her civilian job to her military duties. Afghanistan has seen its share of conflicts over the past 30-plus years. Decades of war have left hidden dangers lurking underground throughout most of the country. NATO Channel correspondent Jake Tutman introduces us to a group of men whose job it is to make the country safe again.
Mines. In Afghanistan, they are quite literally everywhere. Along with other explosive remnants of war, or ERWs, they are responsible on average for the serious injury or death of more than 30 Afghan civilians every month. They are a plague that has tormented rural Afghan communities for the past 40 years, and children are their primary victims. Fazl Rahim has worked for the Organisation for Mine Clearance and Afghan Rehabilitation, or OMAR, for the past 19 years. He agreed to take us up into the Parwan foothills to meet the men responsible for unearthing and destroying one of the war's most deadly legacies. It's a 2-hour trek into the Parwan mountains across rocky terrain to reach the site the deminers are currently clearing. Rocks painted white and green litter the route. White rocks symbolise areas the deminers have cleared, green rocks something more sinister.
When the mining team came here, they destroyed all the mines. When we destroy the mine, we put this stone instead of mines.
But all over the place we come across things like this. This green structure of stones notifies where a civilian died because they stepped on a mine. Not much further into the hills, we came across the demining team who had already found and remotely detonated 3 mines that morning.
Don't worry, that's the explosion of the teams. They are found in the mines.
Deminers earn between $200 and $300 per month and work for 50 days straight before having 10 days off. It is grueling, dangerous and difficult work. It could be a while before Afghanistan is cleared of all mines. The country is ceded to the Ottawa Treaty, making all landmines illegal in 2002, and since then more than 1 million mines have been destroyed. But it is still estimated that countrywide over 5,500 minefields remain. In Parwan alone, this team have already cleared more than 11,000 mines. In the short space of time that we were with the demining crew, they discovered 4 more mines, all of which had to be remotely destroyed. Unexploded ordnance wreaks havoc among local communities throughout Afghanistan. Over 50% of mine victims are under 18, and mines also pose a threat to livestock. But it is the deminers who risk their lives to venture into remote regions and hunt a hidden enemy that lies buried beneath the ground. This is Jake Tutman from Parwan for the NATO Channel.
Super Typhoon Haiyan was one of the most devastating storms to ever hit the Philippines. Defense Media Activity Hawaii News Bureau correspondent Nick Tovo shows us how a crisis action team assisted in getting much-needed aid to the people of Tacloban.
After the Philippine government requested aid following Typhoon Haiyan, the initial U.S. response was led by Marine Corps Forces Pacific. One of their first moves was to stand up the crisis action team at Camp Smith in Hawaii.
Central Philippines forecast calls for continued afternoon showers and thunderstorms. the scope and the magnitude of the situation on the ground, it was immediately apparent that 24-hour operations were needed for the Crisis Action Team.
And so the Crisis Action Team, or CAT, began coordinating with 3rd Marine Expeditionary Forces to bring humanitarian aid and disaster relief to the Philippines.
I think what you're going to have is a C-17 that's going to support your movement.
Structures were essentially wiped away. People were exposed and in need of relief, supplies and water.
One of the key responsibilities of the Crisis Action Team in supporting Operation Damayan is directing joint U.S. military efforts.
Our Navy provided a sea-based platform for some rotary wing assets, and we could reach areas that had not been reached before. The Air Force did a great job opening airfields. It offered us the ability to push more supplies even more rapidly. The Army, with the Joint Logistics Coordination element that flowed in, is just optimizing and making it more efficient how we distribute those supplies.
With so many moving parts, the Crisis Action Team plays a critical role in communication, coordinating, tracking, and informing teams on the ground 24 hours a day from thousands of miles away.
It's the only way to do business to maintain situational awareness, on a 24-hour basis, provide support for the operating force that's getting the mission done on the ground.
The CAT has helped joint forces and the international community bring tons of supplies and relief to thousands of people.
Well, I think this operation really underscored the tremendous coordination and cooperation between the U.S. military and other government agencies that were there to assist the armed forces of the Philippines government and military in providing immediate relief to its affected population.
This Crisis Action Team will continue their 24/7 mission until Operation Damayan is complete. Nick Tovo, Camp Smith, Hawaii.
Hi, I'm Captain David Rowland. I'm with the 4th Battalion 401st AFSB here at Kandahar Airfield. Want to give a quick shout out to all the friends and family back home. Amy, love you. Kids, Caleb, Abby, Laura, EJ, y'all take care of Mom and Benson, all right? Love y'all. Take care.
This is Sergeant Chantel Kamei, stationed with the Task Force Lifeliner in Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. I want to do a shout out to my family and friends. I miss and love you.
Hi, I'm Petty Officer Cecilia Mitchell from San Diego, California. I would like to give a shout out to all my friends and family from San Diego, California, and particularly my daughter, Michelle, and my husband, James. Hi!
Coming up, we see how partnerships are critical to the research of Earth's atmosphere. And Marines give us a glimpse into the future. Check out DivotsHub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. Who invented the Claymore mine? The answer when we return.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. It's like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
Who invented the Claymore mine? The answer is C, Norman MacLeod. Coalition forces continue to protect Camp Leatherneck while they prepare to turn the base over to the Afghan National Army. Marine Lance Corporal John Tucker shows us how Marines are still bringing the fight to the insurgency and files this report.
When Marines got word that the Taliban used the Qasim Bazaar to help traffic drugs, weapons, and lethal aid, they did, well, what Marines do best. Take the fight to the insurgency with Operation Grizzly.
Our mission was basically to go down there and try to interdict and disrupt the enemy as much as possible, try to capture some of those weapons that they're using.
The three-day mission used Marines and Danish tanks to systematically clear out the bazaar and surrounding compounds.
Got it.
First, Marines tackled the bazaar, questioning shopkeepers and searching all storage areas for possible contraband. The result? Several IED pressure plates confiscated. Just as Marines were about to leave, though,
we took pretty substantial fire from the eastern side. It was about a 60 round burst from a PKM machine gun. My Marines did exactly what they're trained to do. They located the enemy and neutralized the threat.
The Marines then moved out of the bazaar, clearing compounds and touching base with the locals, trying to learn about Taliban activity in the area.
I believe the overall success of the mission was complete. We went through getting all these people enrolled. The Taliban pretty much immediately left upon seeing us, tried to attack us, but upon effective fires, they left. So all lethal aid was effectively disrupted in that area.
This continued for the next 2 days, with Marines setting up temporary patrol bases in abandoned compounds. Overall, the mission boiled down to 2 goals: protecting Camp Leatherneck and Bastion, and reaffirming to local Afghans that the Marines are invested in their protection.
We're here to protect the population. We're here to make Afghanistan a safer place. And as long as the Taliban's operating in the area, and as long as they have freedom of movement in the area of operations, it's unsafe for these people.
Marines continue to conduct security operations and engage the Taliban in Regional Command Southwest, as coalition forces prepare to transition the fight to the Afghan National Army. Lance Corporal John Tucker, Patrol Base Bulldog, Afghanistan.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's roots date back to 1807, and since then has evolved to meet the needs of a changing country. Because of the agency's size, Senior Airman Jason Treffry shows us how partnerships are critical to the success of their mission.
Our engine instruments and annunciator lights quality malfunction by type and engine number. Take action on my command. You guys ready to go?
Crew members and meteorologists on board a P-3 Orion finalize checklists and prepare for a one-of-a-kind mission. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, depart Eielson Air Force Base, Alaska on an 8-hour mission toward the fringes of the Arctic Ocean. The goal of the meteorologists is to analyze how the atmosphere responds to ice cover compared to open water, then investigate how that plays a direct role in the weather patterns that flow down and affect the continental United States.
Ice control switches. All right.
This is accomplished by dropping tube-like instruments on parachutes known as dropsondes to gather data above the icy surface. Research meteorologist Dr. Nick Bond explains the importance of the dropsondes in this operation.
They're getting the atmospheric properties from 20,000 feet all the way down to the surface, the temperature, humidity, wind direction, wind speed. And so they're absolutely necessary for giving this kind of context for the detailed measurements we get near the surface.
This small but key government entity knows that today's Arctic research holds interest from both a DoD and scientific perspective. So receiving support from the Eielson team is extremely beneficial to the success of the mission.
With regards to the science, we're as close as we can possibly be to the area of operations where we want to work. And then the support we receive, we're a small government entity. We only have a handful of aircraft that we operate, so we frequently rely on the support of other agencies or commercial vendors. And being able to have all that support in one place here at Eielson is huge for us.
Reporting from Eielson Air Force Base, I'm Senior Airman Jason Treffry.
Definitely roll out to the end.
The U.S. military is known for embracing new technology with open arms. Recently, Marines at Fort Devens were testing new equipment that looks like something straight out of a science fiction movie. Marine Sergeant Mike Walters gives us a glimpse into the future.
We are testing out the LS3. It's a robotic mule. It's real easy to control, really easy to understand, and it's a whole lot of fun. You can pretty much teach anybody in the military to use it.
They're walking through just simple patrol maneuvers with the machine to see what its limits are and where it makes most sense for it to be when the squad is on patrol. Experimentation phase is in full swing right now. Then we'll come back and we'll look at all the data. We'll get the feedback from all the Marines on how they feel it can support them best. And then we'll look at what it needs to look like, what right looks like at the end of the day for a legged support system that's autonomous. Today, it takes 5 or 6 Marines to get somebody wounded off the battlefield. With something like this, you could do it with 1, and that keeps more Marines in the fight.
The system was really good. It's a great idea, and I'm glad that they're coming out with it. It just shows that the Marine Corps is changing, times are changing the next 15 to 20 years. Stuff like this should be everywhere in the military.
My name is Major Drew Ponovis. I'm with Task Force Lifeliner here in Afghanistan. I want to say hello to my family, especially my wife Bethany, and my 2 sons Clayton and Eli. I love you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Command Sergeant Major Alberto Delgado. I'm with the 82nd Sustainment Brigade out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I'm here with the CENTCOM Material Recovery Element, Kandahar Airfield. I want to give a shout out to my mom, Carmen Rodriguez in New York. Love you, Mom.
Hi, this is Specialist Madeline Perez from Yauco, Puerto Rico, with Task Force Lifeliner Garita at Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan. Le quiero enviar un saludito a mi familia, a mi mamá, a mi papá, a mi hermana y a mis hijas Valerie y Sadie, que las amo mucho. ¡Mua! Miss you.
Coming up, a first lieutenant applies her civilian job to her military duties. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divids, continues. In which century was the modern parachute invented? The answer when we return.
Did you know that Divids has over 80,000 videos on our website? If you started now, it would take you 191 days to watch every single one. And that doesn't include the hundreds that come in daily. Visit DividsHub.net and start watching now.
Responsible for 20 countries throughout the Middle East and Central Asia, in an area larger than the continental United States, Marine Corps Forces Central Command provides Marine Forces a unique set of command and control capabilities to our deployed forces during contingencies and crisis response operations. Equally important to our national defense are the close relationships built with our partner nations, because working together will ensure success. Marine Corps Forces Central Command, forward deployed and forward engaged.
In which century was the modern parachute invented? The answer is B, 18th century. Parachutes have been used throughout military history since World War I, primarily as a way to conduct surprise attacks. Today, some new technological advances are giving the U.S. military more capability for its forces. Army Sergeant Ricky Perez files this report.
Recon soldiers from Charlie Company 238 Cav took to the sky for their new equipment training class at Fort Hood's Rapido Drop Zone. The soldiers, a part of 3 Corps' long-range surveillance company, put the new parachutes to the test, parachuting from UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters to perform their static line jumps.
We're doing a new equipment training for the RA-1. RA-1 is the new ram air parachute that the Army and, well, I guess the Department of Defense is going to now versus the MC-4 parachute.
The testing of the new RA-1 parachute system allowed the soldiers to experience more maneuvering capabilities than they would using the Army's older system.
This parachute allows you to land everybody within a 25 to 30 meter circle instead of having all your guys spread out to wherever the wind carried them along the drop zone.
The Army and U.S. Special Operations Command has fielded the ram air parachute system in efforts to provide a more cost-effective way to train airborne qualified soldiers on free fall and static line jumping. Reporting from Fort Hood, Texas, I'm Army Sergeant Ricky Perez.
Members of the Army National Guard lead dual lives. On one side, their Army life, and the other, a life of a civilian. Army Staff Sergeant Peter Sinclair introduces us to a first lieutenant who applies her civilian job to her military duties.
Meet First Lieutenant Monisha Porter, Convoy Commander with the 1230th Transportation Company, as she leads her team of Georgia National Guardsmen out of a motor pool on a dark, drizzly night in northern Afghanistan. Porter's mission today is to sustain Regional Command North, but normally she's right at home leading math in a high school classroom.
I don't know, going to teach in a high school every day is kind of like combat, but there's some commonalities. You know, you have the family type thing, the discipline that you need in the classroom, the same type of discipline you need on a convoy.
Any positive ideas to protect civilians?
Porter is responsible for an entire close-knit platoon and uses her experience and skills to keep her military family safe while ensuring the missions are successful.
Personally, it's like getting your family ready to go on a big trip that's dangerous at the same time. We have to go outside the wire on some dangerous roads, but it's all to keep RC North running.
Sustainment and retrograde operations in support of Task Force Lifeliner and the 1st Theater Sustainment Command will continue courtesy of First Lieutenant Porter and her platoon known as the Pit Bulls.
Pit bulls. We don't bark, we bite.
For Task Force Lifeliner, Camp Marmal, Afghanistan, I'm Army Staff Sergeant Peter Sinclair.
Trying to get an early jump start into the job market, students at Vogelway Elementary School were treated to a showcase of career possibilities. Tech Sergeant Bert Traynor joined in and files his report.
Do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up? These elementary school students have already decided.
French artist, a veterinarian, painter.
Just in case that changes, Vogelway Elementary School held its first career day to offer a little sample of possibilities.
I think it's important because a lot of the kids think their parents just Air Force or just Army all day, but this gives them an opportunity to check out all the different careers that are not only in the military, but the different careers in the world. They get really stuck on, I want to be a video game designer or I want to be a veterinarian, and they forget that there's so many other jobs out there. So this was just giving them a taste of what there is out there.
A constant rotation involving 30 teachers and more than 500 students met 65 different presenters who each get a chance to convince their young audience of what makes their career unique.
Yeah, when you bring robots and cool gadgets and stuff, yeah, you definitely get the kids' attention. They always seem to enjoy it, and so it's a lot of fun working with the kids.
The chance to come out and talk to the kids about it is exciting because you never know what kind of questions they come up with. You always have to be thinking on your feet to come up with something, a response, because they're going to wait. They're not going to give up asking the question. So yeah, it's a good time. Find out who that bad guy is.
These presentations give kids insight into something they've probably never been exposed to.
Doing the demonstration and allowing them to see me with my gear on and full mask kind of makes it not so scary when, if for whatever reason there is a fire and they're going to have to come in and see a firefighter coming at them, it can be a little scary.
Perhaps also proving that anyone can do it.
the males were kind of like, what? A girl can do it? You can lift that? You can't carry a big man, you know? So I had to set some boys straight to let them know that women can do the job too, so.
While some kids might have discovered their new careers today,
when I grow up, I want to be in the military. The firefighter.
Others still have their minds made up.
Fashion designer. When I grow up, I want to be a gymnast.
Tech Sergeant Bird Trainer, Kaiserslautern, Germany.
Divots is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, Divots gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at divotshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or Divots, you can email us at ondemand@divotshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that Divots has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.